Welcome back to the green room here at Regent Hall. Quiet place before the rest of the day begins. Place where I can often just sit and have some moments for myself. It's my closet when I'm here at Regent Hall. Well, we've been working our way through the Lord's Prayer, through Matthew 5 and 6. And the fact that this prayer is the highlighting of everything that Jesus has taught on the Sermon on the Mount, from the Beatitudes and all the way through. He's tried to teach them and show them something, that the presence of God and the power of God and the character of God changes everything. And when we understand that character of God, it changes us. And we become like God. It's not that God is different from ours. It's just that we don't know how to be different until we have seen him. We don't know what it is to be human, fully human, until we've seen that our humanity comes out of him. And his divinity is part of me, and it lifts my humanity to something more than I thought I could be. And I realize there are more and more layers of becoming. We started off at the beginning of the Beatitudes. Blessed are those who are poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Those things that would be so constricting in the world, those things that would hold us down in the world, Jesus is actually saying they become opportunities to become. They change us. They remind us that our humanity is not limited by our circumstances. And he goes through the Sermon on the Mount, and he comes to this pinnacle of the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. It's words that many of us who've grown up in the church know so well. And we've talked in these last weeks about the fact that our Father is the fact that he has no boundaries. It's not a biological fatherhood. It's not a creator fatherhood. It's a relationship fatherhood. I'm reminded of the time when Liz and I were in Bangladesh, and Liz and I were called auntie and uncle by younger people. It was a sign not of our biological connection to them, but our relationship connection to them. And I remember that in the campus where we lived, we had a translator, and he was known as Dada. Because for them, he was the one who came alongside them. And especially when they had difficulty doing their stuff in English, he was the one who sat down with them over the years and had helped them and allowed them to mature. And he was father to them. He was Dada. We were as yet auntie and uncle. So it wasn't that Jesus is saying that this is a biological or even a creation issue. It's a relationship issue. And as a relationship issue, he then puts it in context, our Father. It's without limits. It's available for all. It's about understanding what that means. Not that it's not available to anyone. It's available to all. But not everyone grasps it. But he still is. Even if you don't capture it, he is still our Father. That's his intention, that's his character, that's his desire of a relationship with us. We then talked about who art in heaven, and the fact that this is not about placing God somewhere out there separate from us, but it's about understanding that the heavens are without boundaries. That the idea of the heavens is that if the created world has certain boundaries and certain ideas and certain rationality, God lives beyond all of that. And the heavens are without those limitations. One of the things that, I was saying that, science has brought us many things, but one of the things it keeps on reminding us is that for everything we know, there are so many other things we begin to know we don't know. And the things we begin to know remind us that the things we thought we knew aren't the fullness of what we thought they were. And so science is moving us closer and closer, inch by inch, step by step, to understanding that the boundaries are so much more than we ever thought possible. And we call that the heavens. The universe is the literal translation of the word. That which is without measurement, that which is without limits. And he is everything. He is the character of that which is without limits. We're not saying that that's where he lives. We're saying that's what he is. He is without limits. Hallowed be thy name. And we spent just a few moments on the idea that actually if he is my Father, his name is my name. And therefore, if I'm talking about the sacred of his name, if I'm talking about the holiness of his name, the distinctness of everything that is God, then I'm also talking about me, because as a child of God, his name is my name. And as such, I too should be and seek after the sacredness and the distinctness and the purity and the glory and the hope that is in the name of God. Well, we're keeping on moving. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. We talked about the fact that the word kingdom is a Greek concept, and really the Aramaic concept is may the counsel of God, may everything he wants to say to me as a father come to me. Thy kingdom come, may it come to me. And in coming to me, everything that you want me to be, everything you want of me, the very best of what I can be in life, may that be that which is filling my mind and my heart and my being. Some of us, for all kinds of scenarios and situations, and some of them are tragic. Some of them come from birth, some of them come from circumstances, some of them come from situations. Find ourselves where the physicality isn't the possibility. Maybe not even the cognitive or the financial. But as a father, that's not the be-all and end-all. I want for my children, as God wants for me, for them to live well, despite everything else. Sometimes because of everything else, that the circumstances they go through allows them to become more and more. And in fact, that leads us on to our next thought. Because our next thought, give us today our daily bread. If we're not careful, it comes a little bit across arrogantly, as if it's a bit of a demand. And if we're not careful sometimes in our prayers, we come to God with a sort of a list and we hold him up to ransom. And we say, look, this is what I'm praying for. And if you do this, I will be able to follow you as my God. That's not the intention of prayer. The intention of prayer is that intimate relationship between a father and his child, between God and that which is the essence of God in this world. So give us today our daily bread points us a little back towards the Exodus, which obviously for the Hebrews is such a big aspect of their life and their living and their faith. And remember the story of the manna in the desert, and they would go out every day and they would collect the manna and they would bring it back and they would eat. And at the end of the day, they wouldn't be able to store it because it would go off, and they would have to go out for the next day and collect the manna. And what this line is saying, that Jesus is offering, is he's more accurately saying, grant us the understanding that you will give us what we need so that we may grow. Give us the opportunities, even in the circumstances that can be difficulties, that we can learn to understand how to be better, how to be deeper, how to be stronger, how to be more loving, how to be more forgiving, how to be more caring and hopeful. God, grant me the insight. It's not the physicality of the bread that he's talking about. He's talking about the fact that in the midst of our life and all that we have to face, the physical, the spiritual, the emotional, the financial, everything that we have to live, well, I'm asking God to come and grant me the insight that I can grow to find that every day is an opportunity to become. Every day God comes and provides something that allows me to see deeper and better and stronger. And in my studies this time, and I've been reading the Lord's Prayer for many years. I've been preaching the Lord's Prayer for many years. But what hit me in reading it this time, especially in looking at the Aramaic, is the strength of the word "and." It's not just an association. It's not just an extra. The strength of the word "and" in this Aramaic understanding is connected. So that my understanding and insight of how I become, and I have my provision today, now is connected to what he now says. Forgive me those things that hold me back. Loose those cords is a literal translation of all those mistakes that would hold me back from becoming all I want to be. And then he goes on to say, as we forgive others. It also means, it's actually in Aramaic, it's the same set of words. It means as I loose the cords that are held in others, those things that hold them back, I offer to them the freedom. But my question is, the word that comes across here in Aramaic is a very short word called daf, and it means as we loose the cords of others. And there's two ways you can look at this. You can look at it that as I'm doing this, God is doing that for me. Or is he talking about the fact that in the same state that I do it for others, at the same measure I do it for others, so he's only able to do that for me because that's the measure I'm able to see forgiveness at? And so whilst the forgiveness is available to me, I'm unable to grasp the fullness of that forgiveness because I'm unable to grasp what the forgiveness means to others. It's quite a challenge. And it's a challenge on both aspects of what that small word daf means. Whether it's the concept of as I am doing it to others, so you are doing it for me, or whether it's to the same measure as I give it to others, you are able to give it to me because that's all I can cope with. That's all I can understand. That's quite a challenge for us. But in all those things, what God is wanting for me, it is so that I grow to become the child he wants me to be. That I learn that in my circumstances, in my situation, in all that happens to me, I grow. And my limits expand as I grow to be more and more like him. I pray that whatever happens for you today, or tomorrow, or whatever happened yesterday, what's still in your mind and possibly in your heart, you will take this moment to remind yourself that what I do with it today can make me better, can make me stronger, can make me deeper. And if I can be deeper, then I can make somebody else's life a little better, a little stronger, a little deeper by loosing their cords that would hold them down. We all make mistakes. But maybe as I am able to understand how God has forgiven me, I'm able to stand what I can do for others as I forgive them. May God bless you.
Abund bishmaya. יתקדש שמך. תיתי מלכותך. תהר אותך. אחמד בשמיה. כן אף פרעה. לחמן דמרעה. הבלן יומדן ומחרה. ושפקלן חביין. אחמד אף שבקלן לחי ביין. ואל תעילן לניסיונה. אלא אצלן מן בישה. אמן.